We are live with Al Stasek and the Chase Stasek Group in Cleveland, Ohio. 1 year anniversary at eXp.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. I bet you're feeling pretty good too.
I wore my special suit just for this little
right.
Party. We're gonna throw a little party.
Right. Well, yeah, that sounds like it might be in order.
Absolutely. How you doing, Jay?
Man, I couldn't be better. I couldn't be better if I tried. Couldn't be happier. Yeah. So we got some things we want to talk about. We'll wait for a few people to join us here as well. And I want to get my phone set up so I can answer questions. And
hey, Be Live, that's the one thing that Be Live should really work on fixing a little bit is so we can comments. So if you're listening, they're developers over at Be Live. We highly recommend. We're fans of your product, but we need to
like it.
Yeah.
All right. So we got some things we want to go over today, Al. So it's been a year. So, ironically, as we were talking about doing this 1 year anniversary broadcast and kind of going over like what are all the things that have changed in your life, in your business, as far as, the hype of what, was possible at eXp is, how much of that have you realized is revenue share? You got any stock? Is that stuff? How's that all look? Right. So after a year and really your business as well. How has it grown? How's it changed? How's your daily schedule changed? Are you doing anything different every day than you did before? How are you making decisions differently in your business or in your life? So these are all questions that I can't wait to ask because I haven't really gotten to ask these questions. I know some of the answers, I think, but I think it'll be very informational for anyone who's looking at the long game. And the year, maybe I'm the only one, but I feel like this has been way longer than a year. I feel like we've been working together for 5 years. And that's been in a good way. I've been having more fun than I've ever had. And apparently it's been for at least a year now. So that's always a good sign. And we were talking, go ahead.
The irony is where are you on your way to today? You're on your way up to Oklahoma for whose birthday?
For Riggs's birthday, which ironically was Riggs' birthday party that we spent quite a long time, a few hours anyways, on the phone talking about eXp with me pacing back and forth in my yard, questioning, making this decision for myself, which I guess I'm probably 2 or 3 months out, maybe less than 3 months. So I'm probably at 9 till I'm not quite at month 9, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you joined in October.
Right. End October, November 1. So.
November 1. Yeah. Well, September 1's officially like really, they call that your anniversary date. But the date that I transferred the licenses down in Columbus, Ohio was August 15th. So it was actually 2 days ago was my official birthday. So we're celebrating. This is a belated birthday. But it was this week 1 year ago. I actually made the mistake of going on vacation with my family. That's not a mistake. That's actually a good thing. But it was so busy, and the kids were going back to school. We had to get a vacation and squeeze. So I threw them in the car and went to Cedar Point. And on the way down to see the tennis tournament, we were going down to Cincinnati to go see the professional tennis tournament. I stopped at Columbus, walked into the division of real estate with all of our licenses, and transferred them to eXp. And I might get a little emotional. I mean, I'll just tell you this right now because what your question was. What's changed with my daily rhythm, my daily tasks, what I do? Yeah, a lot's changed. But the thing that I never in a million years, if we went back to this day 12 months ago, what I did not know is that I was going to have the honor of being partners with you and Mike Reese. We formed a company, Reese and Stasek. I would say probably shortly after you had joined eXp.
Right.
We partnered up. We've grown that company to over $1 million company in 7 months?
Yeah, about 7 months.
About 7 months. I've never been a part of anything like that. That was fun. And the crazy thing is we're just getting started. And it's hockey stick growth. I've never been a part of something that has been hockey stick growth.
Right.
I've never seen the levels of profitability in my business.
Right.
It's everything that if I'm being honest, I did not expect the type of growth and the amount of fun. Gene Frederick says it the best. eXp putting fun back into real estate, and I'll that's not just some catchy little phrase he made. I mean, that's just straight up truth. And so I don't throw the word blessed around often at all. You know me. I'm a spiritual guy, but I'm not really religious. I will say I am blessed to be in business with you and Mike and all 939 other agents that have joined this movement with us. I'm getting goosebumps right now just kind of thinking about it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, man, it does. So I mean, do you have maybe let's talk about where your business was, right? So what was kind of the gross commission that you were at? Obviously, where were you? Were you at? Were you stepping out of the business? Was that were you already out of for the most part out of listing, going on listings, and how confident were you in where you were at in terms of your ability to stay out of the getting pushed back into the business, right? So like I've told my story. Everybody should know by now. You get to a certain point, you try to step out of the business. I got thrown back in 3 times trying to step out for good, which I finally did. And it's a challenge, right? So like, where were you in that process? I know you were doing a ton of deals and maybe you can talk about what your gross commission was, but where were you in your business so people can kind of get an idea of what that was like?
Yeah. In 2013, I left the company that I absolutely loved, which was Remax. And I started my own independent firm in 2000, it was 2013. In fact, it was April 1st, 2013. And we were doing we were doing good. I had just joined the mastermind. I was probably a year into the mastermind. And it was because of you all that motivated me and lifted me up. And I would have never done it had I not had my mastermind group and NAEA. And I appreciate and thank you for that. But we were doing probably about 800,000 in GCI at the time. I was in production, loving it. I started getting burned out because I wasn't around at 5 o'clock to eat dinner with my family because I was out on listing appointments every damn night. I would take Sundays off here and there, but my phone didn't stop ringing just because I wasn't running appointments. That phone was attached to my ear. And my wife, I remember she made a rule. You can't come in the house if you're talking on the phone. You got to finish it outside, which was a really good rule. My wife, Patty, she's a smart lady. But it forced me to I'm not coming in and bringing that in there. And I remember you asked me, I backed out of the business. We're doing about 800,000 over the next course. I tried hopping out. When we say hopping out of the business, what we mean by that is I tried to get out of the sales part and run my business and support my agents and give full 100% support into coaching and growing my agents' businesses, not just my sales business. That's what we mean by stepping out. And I did it. But with that business model you run, it can be highly profitable. It could also be very thin. And when you step out and you're not the person that's out there listing those houses, you got a little bit of a different balancing act. It's pretty easy to be profitable when you're out slinging 80 houses yourself and then your team's, doing another 80 or whatever. You step out of that position, it becomes a different game, so to speak. So I did that. I had to hop back in several times, just like you said. And, so my challenges were, just on the recruiting end. I never had more than really 12 agents on my team. And then, if you lose a couple top agents because they want to grow and they want to grow their thing, that takes revenue out immediately. And especially if they're a top agent. And that happened with us. And, it was just one of those things,
Right. Let me unpack where you're at right here real quick. So essentially, you've got 12 agents. You're trying to step out of the listing side of the business and be more in that CEO, that leadership role, and not have to be on the grind on appointments in the evenings every single day, and still run it profitably and pay yourself profitably. What's up, Gaydosh? What's up, Scott Phillips? Been there. Good growth lessons, right? So depending on who's watching, you've either been through this and you're like, yep, I know exactly what you're saying, or you're getting to see around the corner what's coming, right? And the challenge I believe that all of us were trying to solve, at least from a mastermind level, that are all at kind of equal levels of business with at the time, was that churn rate, right? So like we always say, well, we should always be recruiting. We should always have systems in place for recruiting agents because you never know when you're going to lose one. And you go to sleep every night wondering man, I'm about to lose one. How do I make sure they're happy? How do I add more value? We're trying to solve the equation of how do you keep your agents. And so that's where you were at, and then keep going from there.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I don't know who said this. I think it might have come from Mike Reese, but I don't know where he heard it. But the lesson is that you never, there are no business problems. It's always leadership. It's always a leadership problem, right? So I mean, that just, if you live by that, what you do is you're living by this right here. Okay, it's 100-0. Everything is your fault. Okay, there is no business problem. It's a leadership problem. 100-0. You're accountable for the success or the failures. And so I had to take a good hard look at me as a leader and say, where am I messing up? Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, there was probably there was some things missing from my business model. Obviously, eXp filled those holes. One of the things was, that profitability. I mean, this year, I think my best year, about a year and a half ago, we did $1.6 million in revenue. I think that's pretty successful for most people. There's definitely agents in town that are doing way more than that. There's a lot that aren't doing anywhere close to that. So I'd consider that a success. The question isn't that. It's never that top end number. It's the flashy number everyone likes to show off, but it's the bottom line number, which is what matters, which is profit. This year, my profitability soared and literally quadrupled. And when I say quadrupled, the truth of the matter is, I don't even know if it quadrupled. It may have more than quadrupled, but it minimally quadrupled as far as the percentage of profit because of the decision that we made, which, by the way, we didn't know if it was the right decision. I mean, we were pretty confident. I poked holes in it. I asked you to poke holes in it and because I didn't want to make a mistake. I loved owning my own brokerage. Before I owned my own brokerage, I loved being at RE/MAX. Great companies. And so, like, leaving the comfort zone and going for your own brokerage to now I'm a part of a national company. How is the culture going to be great? Like, I had a little bit of fear, I would say, going into it. You gave me a little bit more confidence, but I didn't know you were going to be joining. And then, and that's when then October happened. And I'm not talking about Indians baseball because that was happening. I'm talking about, the movement you started when you came over in October. And then, man, it's just been a blur from that point forward.
So let's talk about, you said quadrupled your profits. And, I think for the most part, a lot of people haven't really talked about it in that way. I think it's probably the right way to look at it is, how can you improve the margins? And, and we did always believe, and I still believe that, the biggest lesson I think I've learned in the last 5 years of really learning some lessons, has been, understanding the importance of the business model. And, that sometimes it ain't and, from a leadership standpoint, I think everybody that's got a team or a large team, can recognize this, that, when you do lose a few key people and you tear it down and build it back up again, you focus on culture, leadership, and really trying to grow people, but you still have the same inherent misalignment in the business model that you have agents that are on a 50-50 split that are at some point doing half of the business from their sphere of influence or from the past clients that you gave them that are coming back around 3 or 4 years in. And it mathematically just doesn't make sense for them to be, to stay where they're at and potentially not be doing listings or whatever the case may be, wherever you make a decision on what you're going to allow them to do, not allow them to do, that kind of thing. So, everybody's tried a lot of different ways to fix that problem, but at a certain point, you're going to lose those people. And, that's the business model problem. And that's ultimately, we've all been trying to solve it with the same set of, ideas and different, structures and all these different things. Yeah. But the reality was there just wasn't a business model where that person was going to stick around and, you had an ascension path for them and an opportunity for them to want to stay as long as they could until they were ready to move on to that opportunity that you helped create for them. Right. And that's really what, if you want to keep great people, you have to understand that, great people are going to want opportunity. And that's what was missing from all of our models. I know, and Gadosh is watching. I mean, me, you, and Gadosh spent, had, a few different phone calls about trying to solve for that with our teams. How do we give them ownership? We didn't see the we didn't see what Glenn Sanford saw. I mean, it would be great if we had thought of that ourselves, but we didn't.
Man, I got the spreadsheets to prove it.
Right.
Between you, Mike, Gadosh, myself, laying out what it would look like if they owned some stock in our team or in our brokerage for our case or whatever. And man, we laid out what it could look like. But I can tell you this: I wasn't sure if it would work, so I was scared to pull the trigger on it, And thank you, Glenn. Thanks for figuring this out for us.
Right. Well, I think what we would have learned is that it wouldn't have worked, and for a couple of reasons. I have, we've done some things in the past to create opportunity for key people, whether it was in a real estate business or not. That sometimes works out, but the ownership is, you would have to be a little bit naive to think that was actually value in, a privately held company that's likely never going to be sold.
And no, it ain't worth anything.
I was being nice. But what we do know is it ain't worth anything. It's not your valuation. If you did an outside evaluation of what your company's worth, go ahead and get that evaluation and get back to us on that. It's not going to be pretty. And, no one's going to, it's worthless without you in it. I mean, that's, this is the truth. I mean, if you're seeking truth, that you got to understand that's the reality that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that was, that was then, right? So what's transpired, right? So, there's several things in this business model that appeal to different levels depending on where you're at. I think from this conversation is really more kind of catered towards the agent that is, a mega producer, a large producer, maybe large team or an independent that has the same kind of problem of sustainability in their business. And so now, it's been a year and you bought into this. What are the reasons that you bought into it? I mean, what was, I obviously know the answer, and I think probably everybody else does too, but what were some of the things you were buying into with this business model and the things that you expected?
Well, I think that a lot of the things were up in my own head, but I know I wasn't the only one that had trouble, with the recruiting aspect and the retention, because we would hear the stories every single quarter when we met with Mastermind. I wasn't the only one. I wasn't. And so for me, I wanted to have a value proposition that would have been Stasek Real Estate Experts if I stayed independent, that was so good that I'd be attracting agents and not having to chase them. And
attract versus chase.
Right. And John Sheplak understands this better than anybody, and he's amazing. And, he's taught me that, you got to do that by putting value out there. So I did that. I actually had Brian Moses. I flew him in. I did workshops. I did a lot of the things that, I believe are the right things to do. Add value to people's lives. You say it all the time. Add value, add value, add value. When you make these deposits, only then you can make the withdrawal. Well, you can do that, but if you have a broken business model that you're attracting to, then what you could end up having is a revolving door. And so, I mean, for me, I wanted to have a business model that not only was good for the top tier agents or even the broker or the team leader, but it was great for everyone. Even the newest agent coming in had the same opportunity to grow their wealth and grow their business and have an amazing business that actually supports their lifestyle after working in this business. By the way, the other birthday I'm going to have actually next week, I'm going to celebrate it down in Columbus, because I think it's the 21st. I'm going to be in Columbus over on Ryan. I'll be 20 years in this business. And I came into the business in the traditional Century 21 model. Then I went and did a discount brokerage. And we've built it to this, and I want to be able to bring these young people. I mean, I came over to eXp with 9 agents. We are now sitting at, I think, 35 agents on this team. I merged with a great friend of mine, Matt Chase. He's an amazing leader, great team leader. He has a great crew. I get goosebumps thinking about it because, he coached with NAEA too. He's a product of Coach Cliff. I mean, it's just so cool, man, like how this all worked out and to be able to now share it. I never thought that I would ever be able to get to a true 7th level as far as a leader, the different levels of leadership, right?
Right.
At 7th level, it's within reaching distance at this point for me. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in myself. It was because I didn't believe in the model that was possible. You know what I mean? The old model I was running. It's possible now. And it's proof of it. There's no theory, you know? And so, man, I just completely lost track of where I was going with that whole thing, but I was just flowing, you know?
So what you're saying is that eXp, the model, has not cured ADHD. Is that what you're saying?
It has not cured that. No.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
No.
It might actually make it a little bit worse.
I've been going so hard all week, and I feel energized and great. I get up. This goes back to your first question. I mean, I get up and spring out of bed happier and with more energy than I've ever in my entire life, period. And, you know, talk about people hyping it up. I mean, if one or two people were doing it, but, you know, you just go and pull up Facebook and look at all the lives. Look at Curtis Johnson. Look at Daniel Beer. Look at Mark Z. He just brought on a couple, you know, really big hitters. This guy had 700 at one time. I think he led a company of 700 agents. These guys are ballers, you know, on a different level than me even. And that's all I can speak to. I could just speak to, like, I didn't know that it was going to, you know, that we were going to be sitting a year from now talking about 939 agents that have joined this movement with us. I had no clue. So I'm humbled. I'm appreciative. And man, it's like we're just getting started. That's the crazy part, you know?
Right. So, yeah. So, let's talk about the stock. I have no idea how much stock you've accumulated. Obviously you get, and I think part of the reason that I have no idea, like even I haven't looked at mine either. I mean, you get stock for just doing what you normally do, selling real estate anyways. It's not like you have to go do something crazy to earn stock. And there's many ways to do it at eXp, as we've explained many times too. So what does that look like as far as, you know, how many shares of stock? And obviously we're not trying to say, you know, give any stock predictions or say that stock's going to go up, they go down. We're not, you know, going to try to guess what that's going to be worth, but it does have a value as of today. If you were vested, what does that look like?
Yeah. So, I capped when I joined last year. I capped within, I think, a month and a half or something like that. I hit my $16,000 cap, and I was awarded stock. I was awarded stock when I sold my first house, which was last year. And then I've been awarded stock when any agents I've brought on sold their first house, and I've gotten those stock awards. I've also purchased stock with the stock purchase program. And so between both of those programs, I'm sitting at probably 2,800. Let's call it probably about 6,000, roughly about 6,000 shares of stock, right around there.
It's not bad.
I would say that like half of that I purchased through the stock program, half of that was awarded, and that's a 3-year vesting. I also was awarded in February. I earned that Icon Agent Award.
Right.
Which means that after you cap, you pay $250 fee on every transaction after that. And once you hit the $5,000, they awarded me $16,000, which is what I paid them in the cap, back in company stock. And that's sitting in there. And I'm loving it, right?
Right.
That's actually a good point. I'm glad you brought the stock up. When I joined this company, Jay, I didn't join. It was a penny stock. I'm not a stock expert. I had no idea whether it was going to go up, down, sideways, or whatever, because it was a penny stock. And I joined for other reasons, you know. I joined because it filled these gaps in the in my model as it related to for my agents. It's better for my agents than the old model, and those were the reasons, like we talked about. But I did not join because of the stock, and because I just didn't have any faith in it. Since then, it was $3.40. I want to say. You can look it up. Anybody can kind of look up where it was, but that's where it was at. So my first stock purchase, because I buy it at the 20% discount, was I bought it at $2.62. Was my first purchase after 1 month with the company, and I bought 548 shares at $2.62. What's it at today? I think
it was back up at 17 last I looked. It may be
$17 a share. So we never really talked too much about the stock because you don't know what it's going to do. But the earnings came out, and it's going strong. That's all I know. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Oh, it's there's a little sell off there. It did hit 17 and sold off. It's right around $16.
Right. So not bad, not a bad deal, right? I didn't do the quick math on. I mean, whatever that is, it's close to 100,000 in stock, some of which you've paid for at a discount, and much of which was given to you. So again, when you think in long game, 10 years from today, assuming this company is still around, which is the pace that we're growing, I'm going to assume that we're still going to be around. And in fact, I'm going to, I have no idea what 10 years holds, but I know that 10 years down the road, it's got to be better than what it is today. That's just my belief. We're in 2 countries today. We'll be in a lot more countries by then. And I think the valuation is going to be, I can't predict it. I'm not going to predict it. So at any rate, it's an asset that doesn't currently exist in any of our other business models. I mean, that we've had. So that's a super plus. Again, it's not anything you're counting on or whatever, but it's happening over here on the side. And a good potential, strategy for, when you decide to retire, if there's such a thing. Right.
Well, so, if it dipped all the way back down to $3 a share and just took a total nosedive, I'd be in the same position I was when I started.
Right.
Worse.
Right. So nothing lost. So, all right. So as far as the the revenue share, what is we have the chart, right? So like how it's grown. I think it's important to show. It's not some magical thing, right? It's a very knowable number, which I think is what a lot of people don't understand is that, it's pretty predictable in terms of it's hard to say that it's predictable. You just know that it's going to grow. Because when I look at the percentages, and we can look at both of them, I'll do a screen share and I'll jump on that if you want to go through that.
Yeah. Do you have the screen share?
Let me do that real quick.
So, I kind of got this little trick from my buddy Gene Frederick, who kind of keeps track of. He's a numbers guy, Gino. Uncle Gino knows, exactly, and so I had to catch up and do it, but I wanted to fill my own chart out to just kind of compare my first 12 months. I want to be able to go back and look and just see what happened because it was pretty incredible. So I don't know if people can see that whole screen, but you can't see where we started. If you can move it over a little bit, all right, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's
I was trying to make it full screen, but I don't know that it is yet. Hang on a second.
I'll see it live if it is.
I should be able to move this away. Hang on 1 second. Bear with me.
But while you're messing with that, did we get kicked off?
No, I got kicked off. We're good.
Okay.
I'm back.
Cool.
All right, so there we go. Ta-da! In just under 30 seconds, I was able to do that. So, all right, so this is what the growth has looked like for yours, right?
Yeah.
So talk everyone through this.
So basically, this time last year, I had 9 agents plus myself and my administrative staff, and we all came over. And you can see that one of my agents had actually already brought another person over, so that's why that second level there was a 1 there. So I started out, coming in 10 hot total. 9 were my own agents, and then you can start seeing that the following month we added 2, 3 more after the second month, added 6 that third month into December. And it wasn't, so I mean, I hope that everybody can look at this and understand that it wasn't I didn't never considered myself a recruiter. This is all attraction efforts, and then you can see what's crazy is the growth beneath it. The top number, I don't think impresses anybody.
Right, right.
I mean, you don't look at that top number, which is that one is those are the people I've personally brought in, and that's not a running like I didn't bring in 9 and then 11 more in October. That's actually the number.
Right, the total. This is the total number on your front line. Right.
1, 3, and then if you look down, you'll see like I think there was a month where I only added one. That was like February, or actually no, I lost one. We had somebody join, and I don't remember what exactly happened. I don't think that there was somebody that wasn't in their market or something like that. They just changed their minds. So you can see it went from 26 to 25, and then back up in March. And you can see right now I'm sitting at 36. Personally, people that have named me as their sponsor for eXp. But the crazy thing is, if you go below that, you go down there. It says 939 agents that's turned into, and that's just crazy, you know. If you're thinking yourself, oh, I can't do this. I mean, it wasn't that difficult. Although I will say that it was a lot of work. I mean, we worked, and you know, a lot of people that we know through our networks and everything have reached out to us. So the most of the work has just been talking with people, showing them the model, and then get on board.
Right, talking to your friends, telling them how tell them about the model. That's literally. So the shift of going out, again, you have your business, you stepped out of the listing side, you're in a leadership role, and you're spending your time, you're investing, because it is an investment of your time, no matter where you're investing it. You choose to invest it wherever you want. You're choosing to invest it in explaining the business model of eXp to people, and that's resulted in building one heck of a revenue share group within eXp. And again, these numbers, this growth, it's astounding. It must be much faster than the company is growing itself. Not true though, right? I mean, your revenue share group isn't growing at the pace the company's growing at. The company's growing. What was the recent numbers? The year-over-year growth was what? 275%
or something like that. Isn't that what I pulled up?
Right. So based on those numbers, you're slacking.
yeah, year over year. And actually, I had in there the percentage of growth. I stopped calculating it. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, anybody watching can figure it out on their own. You can see the percentage of growth went from 60% to a 200%. This is month over month growth.
Right.
You lost it, but that's okay. I think they get the point.
God. So my leg just fell asleep.
Uh-oh. I thought maybe it was a cramp.
It feels so funny. It's tingling.
Must be that all them big bonfires you're cooking up in the backyard.
Yeah. Don't follow me on Instagram if you have a weak stomach.
Having a little rat barbecue over there.
Yeah, we had to get rid of some rodents yesterday. Burned down a doghouse on accident. Yeah. Fire department shows up. It's all good. Just a normal day here in Texas.
I don't think it's an accident. Come on.
Right. So all right. So yeah, man. So I mean, those are numbers. I mean, we're not. I think that the numbers are so ridiculous in terms of the revenue share that it's probably. I mean, we probably best not share that. We'd happy to have a conversation with you and talk about what that can look like.
Well, here's what we can share. What did we estimate that every agent that joins with in your revenue share group ends up being worth roughly, like on the low end and the high end? What is that number?
It's the numbers that I've seen. Again, these are not any kind of official numbers, but the numbers that I've seen and just doing the math myself has been low side $850 per year per agent. That's all the levels. And high side could be probably, upside of 1,100 maybe. Depends. It's all going to depend on the agents that tend to come over. Are they capping agents? The reason that you can't know this number is are they a capping agent or are they not? You get paid on every transaction that they do up until the cap. So the opportunity for you to get a certain amount is there. But if we show everybody that number, it's not realistic because not every agent is going to cap. So, if you assume a half cap, which is about what the number is kind of right in the middle of what I'm telling you to do. If you assume everyone was a half cap, which is a good assumption, it's about the average of what NAR says an agent will close annually. Then you get pretty close to just under $1,000 per agent. So, based on that, fully seasoned 900 plus agents is worth 900,000 a year. So, that would be the estimate of what that's worth. If, once they're, couple months, 3 months in, it would be what I would consider seasoned, that, they're doing deals, they've moved over, things are closing. That's a, kind of a fully seasoned agent, in my opinion. But, and again, there's situations where people come over on teams and their agents come over on a half cap. So there's a few things that can make it real hard to see, well, what's that 900 going to be worth? But that's a good gauge, in my opinion, of what to expect. So, again, it's been, a fun ride so far, 1 year.
Here's the beauty of that, Jay. It's almost all profit.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, outside of the, 5,000 we spent in Las Vegas, at, so for Little John,
we saw Little John, man.
Yeah, it was Little John. But that $5,000 there, if we really added up what it was we spent any of that money on, is probably not, it's 99% profit in real dollars.
Okay.
So
it doesn't, IRS allows for T&A, right? T&E.
Right.
T&E.
T&E, right? Yes, I believe that is true. So yeah, so hopefully this is valuable for for anybody. Again, results not typical. Requires effort, requires work, requires focus, requires consistency. That's all part of it. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens by being intentional, and we've been very intentional about this opportunity. So I think that's a testament to what is possible, but probably not what's normal. So take it for what it's worth. I know that your business is bigger than I've ever seen it. I've never, your business is bigger than it's ever been. People are happier than they've ever been. Everyone is engaged in the opportunity and upside, and you're getting to add value to people's lives every day at a level that is congruent with what your goals are and passion is. And you get to work with the people that you enjoy working with every single day, not just within your market, but around the country. I don't know of a better way to live life, to be honest with you. So happy birthday. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Thank you for about a year ago today, introducing me to the opportunity and get me on track to being a part of this and experiencing a brilliant business model with a great company, with great leadership, with great people, with great technology, and a ton of upside opportunity for all of us to really be a part of something special. So,
man,
really appreciate you.
I'm proud to be in business with you. Love you, brother.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Great day. Rascal Flat.